Hi and thanks for joining me. I'm Dean, this is Woodwork Journey, and it's been a minute since I've had a video out. If you didn't check my one about my air filter cleaner, then please do go and check that out. But let's get into this, because this one finally is me telling you all about my DIY full shop dust collection thing. There are two types of vacuums that you have in your workshop. You have your high volume, low pressure, which is why you have the 100mm hose. And that is usually for things like router tables, thicknesses, occasionally a table saw, that sort of thing, because it'll suck a volume of stuff that's quite wide around here. It kind of whoosh, like that, right? And if I can think of making some kind of graphics, I'll do that. But yeah, that's what the high volume, low pressure does. A high pressure, low volume, which is the other way around, is like your normal shop vac. And that is just kind of what's right in front of it. It'll do the trick, and that's designed to work with sort of thinner, like 35, 40mm maximum hoses. That's why a lot of shop vacs only have like 32, 36mm hoses, and they tend to be quite noisy and all that sort of nonsense. This unit right here will cover basically both situations. Now, there is one issue with it, which is something that I'm not sure I will be able to fix, certainly not easily, but otherwise it works brilliantly and does a fantastic job for my needs, and I really wanted to show you how I made this. And also we've got a surprisingly good and affordable Cyclone and a dust collection underneath. Now, the CamVac twin motor unit is about £460. This, I think, all in, cost me around about 120. It was under 150, but you could even make it cheaper, because this is a really simple idea that you can make. Like I say, there is one downfall for it, which I'll get to, and I haven't got a full build video, but I'm going to show you what I did with this one. All right, let's get into it. Right, so I've quickly turned the light off above me there, but I have got a light behind my dust collection box, and I'm going to turn on both motors on this. I'm going to send this bit of oak through the thicknesser, and then hopefully you'll see everything come whizzing through and then go through to that. Here we go. Hopefully you saw all that going in there and doing all the whizzy roundy stuff. Now we'll have a look and see what's happening on the other end to see if it sucked it all out of the thicknesser. I would say that did a pretty damn good job, wouldn't you? What about other tools? Well, we've got the big hose coming from the Cyclone. That goes on there with these handy dandy connectors, and that goes two pipes to my bandsaw, which does a grand job. That's 100mm down to 250s. I made those joiners, the 100mm to the 100 to 2 times 50mm, and I'll make sure I leave links for all of these things. I made the adapter there, but these are not my design. Anyway, that's for that one, and then this one is going to my table saw, and that is going 100mm down to 75mm, which goes straight onto the Evolution and does a grand job. You can actually, if you've got both motors running, you can actually feel a little bit of suction at the top of the table, which is fantastic. So before I take this off the wall, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. You'll see when I take this off that there's a hole in the connection box, which is where this hose is attached. Inside that box, there's two HEPA filters, okay? So anything that comes in goes through the goes through the Cyclone into the bin, but anything that manages to get past that and go up into the collection box, because there's a hole directly in the middle underneath it, anything that sort of gets kept in there should eventually drop down into this and go straight into the bucket anyway. So I'm quite pleased with that idea. Anyway, let me take this apart and I'll show you all about it. While I'm doing that, by the way, I've also got this attachment which goes on there so I can just sweep up stuff. So that's cool. Anyway, and if you wondered, this is not attached, as you can see. There's a mouse mat gasket going on the top of the bin, and then this lid just sits on with a little bit of an insert, and there you go. That's all that's needed to get the suction sorted out. And then if I want to empty it, I just take this out and away you go. So this is the bottom section that was directly on top of the Cyclone, and we can take these out nice and easily, like that. And then in there, you can see the two filters. Let me pop a light in there for you. Right, we'll take you off the tripod so we can have a little look-see in there. And there we go. We've got the two HEPA filters fully attached. Can be taken out. If I undo that, can take that off and then give that a blowout with a compressor or whatever. And then in it goes again. And yes, I can reach the one at the back as well, nice and easy. So any little bits like this that were sucked up, these will all eventually just fall straight down into the Cyclone anyway. I've undone the screws on the other side of these brackets already, so we'll just do these little ones as well, and then I can show you what's going on. So first of all, this here is the exhaust. Now this exhaust, I could put 100mm hose on this, or a solid pipe or whatever, and I could exhaust that out to the outside world, but I've not had enough dust come out of it that's required that to happen as yet, and that's something I've been testing. But if we can look in here a little bit, you can just about see what's going on. So right here we have the top halves of the two motors, and I'll explain which motors I've used and all that sort of jazz. So I've just cut holes in this plywood, mounted these top halves of the motors in there, and then extended the switches to underneath the box lid. That's all that is. It's super easy, super simple. I've just clamped them down with a couple of bits of plywood, but this is all that was inside the vacuums anyway, so made life nice and easy. We try not to get the wires caught. And I also, at this point, wired everything up so the two motors ran off one lead. I'm not going to show you how I did that because I'm not an electrician, but what I did do is I measured the amperage to the plug to make sure that the two motors weren't going to exceed the 13 amps required for a normal plug, and they didn't when they were both on. So I still only turn on one at a time. I turn one on, let that sort of peak, go down, get back to normal, and then turn on the other one. Only takes an extra second or so, but that's my kind of background on that, if you like. Now, you might have seen, but I haven't even done any sort of severe kind of sealing on a lot of these. I put some silver tape on this end because I cut things a bit wrong, but otherwise, you know, it is what it is. It's just incredibly simple, and that's all there is to the box. Like I said, on the top there, that is the two plugs, or the two switches, that I just transferred from the top of the Hoover and extended the wire and put them on top of the box. Vivor have sent me a couple of things. This, however, is not one of them. I bought this, and Vivor have sent me some rails that I've still got to do a video on, because I'm going to do a flattening jig. But yeah, I bought this one. I'll make sure that there's a link down below. I can't remember how much it was, but I think I've got a feeling it was like 36 quid or something daft like that. But it was significantly cheaper than any other 100mm Cyclone that I've seen in the UK. And I was concerned that it was going to come down too much of a small hole at the bottom here, and I'd get loads of blockages. However, I haven't once had a blockage with this, and that's, you know, I've used it on all sorts of different machines, and it's just worked really, really well. So I think these are just under 100, which is why I've got some tape around the outside of this one. But yeah, this was a Vivor thing, which I got on Amazon, and I'll put a link down below. The power lead I added to this is exceptionally long, and that's because I wanted to be able to put this anywhere in the workshop, and that's worked out pretty well for me. I have got wheels on this, so if I wanted to, I could wheel it around as well. But yeah, pop that on there, and pop that on there, and then it's just a case of popping my hoses on, and we're golden. Right, I've got an anemometer here, so this should give us an idea, and I'll be able to put a comparison of my unit compared to the CamVac up on screen. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if I'll be able to turn that on, but we're gonna make sure that we're on meters a second, and I'm hitting the max button so it retains the number at maximum. But I'm just gonna show you that that is 0. Okay, so in the same shot, so I'm not doing anything wobbly. That's for one motor. Right, so quickly on this little app I got going on here, we've got that 13.9 meters a second, and going through around 4-inch duct, and those are the numbers that we've got going on right there. So you can see those. So CFM wise, we are looking at, what is that, 955, I think, something like that. So let's have a look and see what the CamVac is doing. Right, this is the small one with the, I believe, the twin motor. And if we go at specification, right there, its airflow is 108 litres per second. So if we go back to here, litres a second, we've got 450. So that's way more than what we got on that CamVac, by all accounts. Right, Dean, you said at the start of this video there was one issue, and this is it. That is my sound meter, and that is 1 meter away from this box, okay? And currently we're looking at around about between 60 and 70 with me just talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on one motor, then I'm going to turn on the other motor, and you'll see the issue, okay? So there you have it. We're sort of topping out at around 80, 85, something like that, which is pretty loud. I don't know if it should be like ear defender loud, but it is pretty loud. So that's something that I know that Dennis at Hooked on Wood made like a quiet box for his, and there's various other things, but I'm not going to carry on messing around with it. That's going to be that for the time being, and I'm okay with it because most machines will make that kind of noise anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that unlike a big induction motored HVLP one, this is essentially using 2 shop vac motors, so it isn't a quiet little hidden away little puppy, you know. That's it. But that is the only negative that I can think of with this whole unit. Right then, so the costs. The first motor that I bought, which was the Wessex with the metal can, I think that was about 60 quid thereabouts, and the second one that I got with exactly the same motor but with the plastic can, that was I think 45. So that's those two. So what's that, 105 so far? I don't know if I had said earlier on how much this Cyclone was, but I was wrong if I did. I actually paid £62.99 for that. However, still significantly cheaper than anything else with 100mm that you can see. The rest of it is all stuff that I've made or 3D printed, a couple of brackets here and there. I used a bin. You can use any old bin you fancy. I used an old mouse mat as a gasket like I've shown you. It's not even attached. So yeah, it's doing a grand job. And so comparing this to something that's going to cost me 460 quid, I'm over that. Thank you very much. So yeah, this works out quite well. Now, if I wanted to, I could just go single motor. I can reduce the hose down to a hand tool, to like a 36mm hose or something like that. Not a problem. All good and gravy. I might, just before turning off the vac, just put a kind of put the second motor on just to clear anything in the tubes, but you wouldn't want to restrict things too much. But no, otherwise I couldn't be happier. I put the longest lead in the world on it so I could move it anywhere in the workshop, but I've mounted it to the wall because it works just as well as I could hope it would really. And I've shown you how I attach it to my main tools. And so because of this, I think this is a fantastic solution for a DIY dust collector in any workshop really, but particularly great for small workshops because you can make this. This is oversized. I could have made it smaller if I'd have actually measured anything. But there you go. Let me know what you think. The Cyclone is out of stock at the moment, I've just noticed, but I will leave a link to it still down below, and hopefully it'll come back in stock again, just like the mitre gauges did and all that nonsense. But there you go. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will speak to you later. But please make sure you drop me a subscribe, maybe even a like, if you think I've earned it. Thanks very much, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.